This morning, public enemy number one is dead. Osama bin Laden confirmed killed by American Special Forces. From ground zero to the White House, pure elation.
USA! USA! USA!
He was the face of evil for so many families of 9/11, the man behind that day and other attacks. He taunted the U.S. from faraway hiding places, but he couldn't hide forever.
A nearly decade-long mission to find bin Laden, now complete.
All right, so for our project, what we did was we wanted to analyze the issue of Osama bin Laden's death. And what we did was we found sources from multiple different countries from basically every continent. And we analyzed what their opinion was on the whole event and what happened there and what their take was on it. So here are some of our sources. So for my sources, what I did was I kind of took a Western take on it. I chose the UK and the United States for my sources. One of them was from the Huffington Post, which was in America. And their take was definitely very positive about the whole event. They talked about how it was such a great thing for America and how it kind of got rid of the face of evil and kind of the face of Islam to the Americans, which was a very positive view on the event. But on the in the UK article, it was from The Guardian, and theirs was kind of different. They looked at it as it was kind of an unfair killing, I guess. They kind of focused on the fact that bin Laden was unarmed when it happened, and he didn't really put up a fight, but they still killed him, so they thought it was just kind of an ethics issue instead. And they didn't really talk about how it was great for America. They just kind of focused on it wasn't really a fair fight, and it was just kind of a wrong way to go about it. So both were Western takes, but they were very different points of view on the issue.
So I took a Middle Eastern view on the bin Laden's death, and first I did Iraq, and the Iraqi article is very short and like gets to the point. And one of them, it mentions in it that the Iraqi president sent a letter to President Obama congratulating him on the killing of bin Laden, not in the sense that he was killed, but just for justice, not revenge. And it's just about like how they debated it and the different views on it, and it's just very short. And yeah. So for my second article, I took the view of the Pakistan, and it's actually interesting because the country that the raid took place and he was killed in. And the title of the article is Pakistani Stocks Fallen Worries Over Aid After bin Laden's Death, which is interesting because it's just one person. They just focus on how he's going to affect their country after it and how like his death is going to hurt their economy.
Go.
So I did China and India, and both the countries had different point of views of how Osama bin Laden's death went about and where he hid. In China, we can see that China didn't support the states and how they were being influenced. Gull told Denia TV that the operation to kill bin Laden was not something new. It's quite unfortunate that we have permitted the United States to establish its bases and freely operate its forces in Pakistan. In India, they focused on where Osama bin Laden was captured based on China, where they focused on how Osama bin Laden was captured. For example, the article in India said that the Pakistani who owned the compound that sheltered Osama bin Laden in his final years said he was buying the property for an uncle, according to the doctor who sold the land in 2005.
So for my two sources, I focused on South America, and the two countries that I chose was Argentina and Colombia. And in the Colombia article, the heading was called Santos called Obama to hail bin Laden's death. And in that article, it spoke about how the president of Colombia called Obama and congratulated him on the catch of the world's most wanted man. And in the Argentina article, they wrote about how USS Bin Laden was unarmed when shot dead. And both of these articles are like similar, different, because one is talking about how a president is calling Obama, and the other one is talking about how, like, the U.S. says that Bin Laden was unarmed when dead. And yeah, that's it.
My two sources were Jamaica and Saudi Arabia, and in Jamaica, a foreign affairs minister named Dr. Ken Bowe said that the death of Osama bin Laden is a triumph for the United States and the people everywhere who cherish peace, freedom, and democracy. And in Saudi Arabia, the article that I read, it was pretty much talking about bin Laden's family and how they feel about the whole situation. And a childhood friend named Khaled Batarfi said that the general mood in the family was this was a page of history that closed, and the family members hope that there's no violence responses from his group or his allies.
All right, so as you can see with all our sources, they're very differing from the different countries. We had them from all the different continents of the world, and there were a lot of similarities, but there were also a lot of differences in the point of views of the different sources we chose. So those are our sources.
From Fox 13, the most powerful name in local news, this is the Fox 13 5 o'clock news.
So you're here with Fox 25 News. Today we're going to be interviewing Joe Morahan, a resident of Concord. Joe, where were you born?
I was born right here in Concord. Pretty proud of that fact.
That's cool. How do you like it here, living your whole life?
It's pretty good. Some days are better than others. It gets kind of boring a little bit, but in all, it's a pretty good town. I like it.
Understandable. All right, cool. So what's your favorite food?
My favorite food, I like anything that tastes good. Like, I like a lot of foods. I'm not too picky.
All right. What about your favorite thing to do?
Favorite thing to do in Concord?
Or just anywhere. What's your favorite sport? What do you like to do the most?
I don't know. I like Boston sports teams. I like to go to all the professional sports games.
So Joe, how do you feel about the whole incident of Osama bin Laden being killed?
I think it's a real patriotic triumph for our country, but at the same time, I don't know how helpful it's going to be. Well, I think it was a good idea to not release the pictures of him. But, I think that the celebrations and everything about people taking it too far is going to hurt us because there's going to be revenge.
From Fox 13, the most powerful name in local news, this is the Fox 13 5 o'clock news.
So you're here with Fox 25 News. Today we're going to be interviewing Joe Morahan, a resident of Concord. Nice. All right. So what are your strengths? If someone didn't know you, what would you say are your strengths?
Pretty good at everything.
All right. What do you think are your weaknesses?
My weaknesses? A lot of people say that I have weaknesses, but I don't think I have weaknesses. Pretty strong in everything.
All right. Do you not think you have any weaknesses at all?
I mean, I might have a few, but in the grand scheme of things,
Okay.
they're minor.
All right. So what do you think is your greatest triumph? Like, best thing you've ever done in your life?
My greatest triumph?
Yeah.
When the Celtics won the championship, I charged the court and jumped on Paul Pierce.
Really? You
Yeah.
actually did that?
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. That's amazing.
And then I punched a Lakers player.
Wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't really answer my questions.
Do I have to answer your questions?
Yeah, that would probably be nice considering you came in to be interviewed.
You asked me to be interviewed.
All right.
I didn't ask to be here.
I'll just ask you your next question. Okay. He's Joe Morahan. He's an amazing person. What do you feel is your greatest triumph? Like, what's the best thing you've ever done in your life?
It's the best thing I've ever done. I mean, everything I do is amazing. So, you could just take anything, even my daily life.
Like what? Specifically, like one event.
Anything.
That's
Like getting on this interview.
Wow, that's an honor. It's the greatest thing he's ever done in his life.
Not the greatest thing I've ever done. I'm saying everything I do is great.
All right, so
This
what's
is
the
probably
greatest?
the worst thing I've done.
Okay.
Being on national television, worst thing I've done.